Don't know where he's at, but that's okay. In the meantime,
Yeah, what's up?
next week.
Everybody's yelling at Teddy in Guildjet.
Hi, Zanyo.
I swear I thought I was in the right channel the whole time and everyone just wasn't talking to me.
That's really funny. All right. Hop into stream, folks. You know the drill. Like we do during actual raids when we're talking about things, you go in my stream in Discord. Sweet. All right. Hello, welcome back. Welcome to 11.2 and the start of Season 3. We had a lovely Season 2, but I think we can do even better. I think we can get more mythic mounts, so we're going to try even harder this time around. For the most part, the plan isn't going to be changing, but I just kind of want to reiterate some of the important things for the team. A couple things that we're going to be doing a little differently, a couple new ideas we're going to try out. So, first things first, just as a reminder, we have our Mythic Plus requirement. It will be back in full force starting next week. On week 1, you will be needing to do 4 plus 7 keys. We're going to be expecting people to be farming as many hero pieces as they can as fast as possible, so that's your minimum, but please go above and beyond if you can. And starting on week 2, unless the tuning is horrendous and we all agree, we'll be looking at 4 10s at least in your vault for the entire season until you can prove with the Droptimizer that you do not need any more loot from Mythic Plus. Same as it has been in the past. If you do not complete the Mythic Plus requirement, you are a lower priority for the roster. And if you repeatedly don't do keys, you'll just fall behind in gear and be sad forever. If you do your keys, we want to bring you to Mythic Raid. It's that simple.
So you'll be sad or sat forever.
Both. Both of these are true. We have a fun little thing that we're going to try this season. If you go to Discord and you scroll all the way to the top of Horizon, you will see Pika's domain at the very, very, very top. And there is a trial management channel that has just been greenlit for people who are currently on the prog team. Trials, you will not see this yet. The trial management channel is where we are going to be posting all of the people we are considering for trial on the team. There will be a thread for each person, and in those threads, we can go over logs, feedback on their performance in raid, feedback on their previous logs. This will be open for discussion from anyone on the team who wants to share their opinion on whether or not this person should be on the team. And we will compile your constructive and well thought out feedback and communicate it back to the person. Any homework that needs to be done will be assigned. And after a little bit of time, we will either accept or, well, not accept the trial. So for example, Ellie has just begun pinging at Prog Team in a bunch of our current trial threads. So trials, everyone's talking about you. Show your best stuff next week. We're hoping that this will just, one, take a little bit of burden off of the officer team doing all the log review on trials. And two, we'll be able to get a lot more information. We'll be able to ask questions to the spec experts. Like if we have a Ret Paladin trial, we can chat with Zara and Pebbles and Gellin and see if they're doing something obviously wrong or obviously right that we didn't think about.
The paladins were picked first.
Hmm. That's because you're iconic.
I was about to say, be careful.
Now, we have another new thing that we're going to be doing this season, and this one, hopefully, everyone will like. Zenio has graciously subscribed to the Patreon to get us the Liquid Aura Updater, which is an add-on that will automatically maintain our Liquid Weak Aura for the whole season. No more checking if everyone's on the same version, no more going and reinstalling it over and over again. No more headaches, no more going into bigwigs and toggling settings one by one and telling everyone what to do. We will be using this one quick add-on to very quickly and very easily just update everyone to the same version, and we'll be able to do a version check at the start of each raid, and you'll have a thing pop up even that'll tell you when we do a ready check if you're out of date from everyone else. We won't even have to think about it. You click a button, it updates, we're good to go. This also means that on day one, we will have the liquid weak auras for normal and heroic right out the gate. So whatever they're doing, we'll be able to do too. We're basically as good as liquid now. That's what it means.
We beat
Even
them.
if maybe we'll even beat them. You never know.
Guild speed on every tier. There's always Wolf first boss.
That's true. I'm going to flip my stream to WoW and show you exactly what this looks like. On my minimap, I have a little liquid icon, or I can type /AU Aura Updater. Pops up with this. This will show me the available liquid weak auras and whether I am up to date or not. So the liquid weak auras, weak aura, I am out of date. Oh no, I better fix it. I click update, it pops up with the weak aura panel to update. Make sure you don't have to click anything here, you just click update. It updates the weak aura. I can go here and I can see my aura updater add-on is up to date, my liquid anchors are up to date, my liquid weak auras are up to date, and my liquid Manaforge Omega weak aura is up to date. If I'm in a raid, this will show everyone. One button, don't have to worry about it. It'll take a sec to set up. We have instructions that are going to get posted into prog announcements later tonight. Hopefully it'll be easy peasy. But yeah, this will also check if everyone has the same raid note. This will check if you guys have anyone else on the group on ignore. Reminder that you cannot /ignore anyone on the prog team in game. There is chat interaction. You cannot have people on ignore. We will now be monitoring this in game.
It also disables conflicting big stuff, right? So we don't have to
Yes.
worry about that anymore.
So by default, and don't change this, it will disable anything in bigwigs that conflicts with the weak aura automatically. So if you have this add-on, it will fix your settings for you. There may be things that we say we want to do, like have say announcements pop up that don't normally, or add some countdowns to things to make it easier, but the things that are going to cause us actual problems are automated now. So there should be no more weak aura boss bullshit going forward. And lastly, on the sort of season plan, I just want to touch on expectations. You are expected to be logging in 15 minutes before the quote-unquote raid start time, unless obviously there's a few people. We're playing with a group of people all across North America. There are people in different time zones. There are people who work until 5 minutes before raid. Hell, I work until 30 minutes before raid, and if I want to go pee and get water before raid, I have to do that. So there are reasonable people who have said in advance, hey, I will be logging in 5 minutes before raid or 10 minutes before raid. As long as you tell us, that is okay. But we need to know. The expectation at a baseline is you log into the game 15 minutes before our start time, quote unquote, so that we can all help do trash quickly and get to the boss. We are also expecting everyone to be in Discord at least 5 minutes before the start time. So at 4:55 PST or at 7:55 Eastern, whatever it is, you need to be in Discord, in the raid channel, ready to talk. Well, be talked at, I guess. If you're not in the Discord channel 5 minutes before and you haven't said anything, we're going to assume you're not making it and we're going to start without you. We're not going to be making an entire raid group wait up for one person anymore. We are going to plan around everybody either being there or people not being there so that we can actually pull at 5 o'clock. That's the goal. So if you're going to be late or if you're going to be logging in right on time, put a message into the thread. If it's something private that you feel comfortable sharing with an officer but you don't want it to be public, you can DM one of us. But we prefer if you give us an ETA in the attendance thread for that raid.
You want to talk about
Um,
what to do on the bench? It's semi-related.
Yes, that is important. Thank you. I was missing something in my notes. If that's okay. But it's a shame you didn't give us an ETA that you weren't going to be 5 minutes in Discord before raid.
I'm sorry. I had to wait on the
It's okay.
pizza.
It's okay. Yeah, so when we get into Mythic, obviously we can only have 20 people in at any given time, and we have a lot more than 20 people on the roster. We will be finalizing the roster the night before, as always, which is why we require the attendance responses at least 24 hours before a raid. And then the night before raid, we pick and choose who's going to be in on each fight. But if you are not in on a fight, the ideal scenario is that you are still available if we need you. If something comes up, we can grab you still. You are showing up, you are watching the raid so that you know what we're doing. And so that you're available if during the raid we need to swap someone out, or if someone has to leave abruptly, or if a meteor falls and kills someone. I recognize that that's not fun to watch the raid happen, but you can put the stream on one screen and go do keys on the other screen, or do whatever you want to do at the same time. We just want to make sure that everyone is up to date with what we're doing and everyone is available. It's an expectation of being on this prog team roster that even if you are sat for a fight, if you're on the team, the expectation is that you're supporting the team and you're learning with everyone else at the same time.
Yeah, the learning is the key bit. Like, if you're watching the stream and you're watching us wipe to everything, you're learning not exactly at the same rate as everybody else, but like catching up is so much faster. You see the things that we've all made mistakes on, and then you can plan to avoid those when you are able to jump in.
The things that are unintuitive that we have to figure out and we discuss verbally, if you're not there, I don't want to repeat that same question and answer again. Or I might forget that you weren't there when we talked about it. So if you have it in your heart to show up to the raid that you said you would show up to, even though you're not going to be in on a given fight, please do so. Is there anything else on the requirements and expectations side that I missed?
Nope.
Do your keys, answer the attendance post. Notifications need to be on for the attendance channel so that when you get pinged to respond to an attendance post, you can respond to that attendance post. Please, for the love of God, don't make Pika chase you down to answer the attendance post.
The keys start next week.
Yeah. And so with that, let's talk about what happens this week. This is week 0 of the season. This is technically not season 3 yet. There are a few things that you probably need to do, and a few things that, if you have time, you should do. And if you can hear a dog screaming in the background, I want to kill it too, don't worry. It's not mine. What the fuck is happening out there? My god. So, you must, before you enter the raid, do this week's campaign quests. All of them. Every single one. You need to have the legendary cloak, the artifact cloak, whatever you want to call it. You need that cloak. That is at the end of the quests that are available this week. It doesn't take very long. Just do it. This cloak will be required to enter the raid. This cloak will be required to do the mechanics on the first and last bosses. Must be equipped. After you get it, there will be a couple of little purple, like, mechanical quests that give you an item that let you pick a stat to put into it. Do that. Do the thing that upgrades it so that it does the damage proc. It should be very obvious. You all played this game. You know how the quest system works. Just do the relevant quests to unlock the thingy. You're also going to need to start working on sparks again. New sparks for a new season. Do a couple weekly quests to get your first spark. Don't use it. Don't use it right away. Figure out what's going to be in your first few vaults. Figure out where exactly the guide writers are going to tell us to do it because they're smarter than us. There is a world boss in the new zone. It drops a champion piece of gear, Warbound. You can only get one piece per account per week, so it doesn't matter how many alts you send at it, you'll only get one piece of gear, and it could be anything. It could be cloth, leather, mail, or plate. Could be a ring, though. Haste Mastery ring, kinda sick. Kill the world boss on a character, and see if you get something good. It would be a very... Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, so that it drops Warbound champion gear once per account. Does that mean obviously if I get it on my first character, then I don't need to worry about it. But if I can just keep killing it on different characters, and eventually I will probably get a champion piece.
No, it's guaranteed on your first kill.
Oh.
So, just like last season, the first time you kill the world boss, as a human being, the first time you kill the world boss each given week, it will give you a champion piece. However, I am a priest. I just killed the world boss. I got a plate helmet. It can be anything on the drop table. It's warbound. I'm going to give that plate helmet to my paladin, which is a cool head start for him, but it wasn't something that my main could use. Them's the breaks. Still do it anyway. Also, that world boss is really hard for some reason.
Yeah, it is.
Seriously.
It confused the shit out of me when I first saw it. I didn't even think it was a world boss.
Yeah. Anyway. Also, really recommend, if you have the time, doing tier 8 delves this week. As many as you can stomach doing, up to 8 to fill your vault up. You're going to need to unlock tier 8 delves, so do a 4, 5, 6, and a 7 first. But then do 4 8s or do 8 8s, because those are hero track pieces in your vault on week 1. That could be a hero track tier piece. That could be a hero track amazing trinket. There are a few trinkets from delves this season that are really good looking. So, do your delves. And also, There are M0s available. There are 6 dungeons. Floodgate, Halls of Atonement, Priory, Arakara, Dawnbreaker, and the new Ecodome on M0. They all will drop champion gear. Blast them. Zenyo put some threads in the looking for group channel of our Discord that are meant for organizing armor stacks. So getting 4 clothies and a tank, getting 4 melees and a tank, 5 leather, 5 plate, getting a group together for gear sharing, where if you get a piece that you don't need, you can give it to someone else in the group. Those threads are in the LFG channel. If you're interested in partaking, go put your name in the hat, and we'll be trying to organize some of those stack groups. It's not very formal, it's not like the Mythic Plus Sundays. Just trying to maximize gear for people who have time to do it. If you really want to min-max, after you've done the 6 dungeons, just do 2 of them again to fill out that vault row. It's probably not worth it, but hey, you can. And that's really it as far as I know. I don't think there's anything else this week. Just do some rep grind, do some questing, world quests. Get yourself comfy with your reworks, hunters, priest, DKs. A lot of pretty significant changes to the class design on a lot of specs, so make sure you're comfy and you understand it going into next week.
I don't know if you had mentioned it specifically. For other things to do is get up to, what are we at, 685?
Yeah, so using
If you're
the tools available, do everything in your power to gear up. I know a few people who have applied for this season have applied on characters that are not up to our end of season 2 eye level. Make sure that using these M0 dungeons and your weekly quests and veteran pieces and slamming all of the weathered and carved crests that you get. Don't be afraid to just use the carved crests. They're going to be nothing starting next week. Next week you'll be farming hero pieces and carved crests don't matter anymore. So slam all of your carved crests and weathered crests into upgrades and get yourself up to par. We are really hoping to have everyone at 685 or higher for week 1 of the raid. If you're close but not quite there, and we told you that you need to be there, just let us know. We'll think about it. I don't know exactly how much gear is really available for catch-up this week. I suspect enough, but we'll see.
Don't forget as well to do content for the thread so you can upgrade your cloak.
Yeah, there are. I haven't dug deep into everything that you need to do to max out weekly. So if you want to chat about that, Zenio.
Yeah, I mean, if you're doing your M plus and delves and stuff like that, you'll knock it out naturally. But it's important to make sure you at least get your 6 threads every week. That way you can upgrade your cloak. I think right now I'm at 707. I think that's the cap.
That's good. It's good to know. So when you get the cloak, there's the quest giver that does the upgrades and gives you your first socket thread thing. Has a little counter out of 6 for how many threads you can have this week. Get 6 threads and you'll be able to upgrade the cloak's eye level. We'll be needing to maintain that throughout the beginning of the season until it caps out at some point, I assume. Cool. All right. Are there any questions on what you need to be doing, what you'll be needing to do, how we're running the prog team? Feel free to say it or just type into the voice chat, text chat. But if not, then we can move on to talking about what the actual bosses are going to look like this coming season. Cool. All right. Gonna jump the stream over again to a browser window. We're gonna look at a little bit of PTR footage. We're gonna talk about some of the mechanics. We're gonna touch on what I think the plan will be for how these bosses work. This will be subject to change. This is PTR footage. This is theory crafted strategies. The big gamers doing their splits will be showing us how the game actually works. But for now, this will be a start. So. Ping? Nope.
Sorry, that was
That's
me.
you. All right. So, starting off with the Plexus Sentinel. Plexus Sentinel is in a big long corridor. It's split into 4 segments, and there is a big wall between each segment. And if you touch the wall, you get vaporized. You die. It's like 40 million damage. There's no point trying to go through it because standing on the wrong side of the wall also just ticks you for damage. So we will be starting the fight, vibing in the first little quadrant of the arena here. He is going to, first off, target players with little bombs, and these bombs are going to drop shit on the ground, which I'm trying to get an image of. There. Okay, you see these little circles on the ground? I thought this would be clearer, but I was trying to find a quick set of footage that shows all the bosses. And here, okay. People are targeted with bombs. You run those to the edges of the room. It's going to drop a little funky glyph thing on the ground. If anyone steps in that glyph thing, they are stunned and take a ton of damage. So you don't want that. Tank mechanic is a fall-off bomb. You run it into the corner, it drops poop on the ground. There is a group soak. This group soak is going to be shown later in the video. Tank bomb is run out of the group, fall-off damage, leaves a pile of poop. Ideally, we are just putting it into the far corners. So we'll be dropping the bombs, the little individual bombs, along the wall to the best of our ability. And then the tank bomb into the far corners. He's going to, oh my god, jump ahead. Where's the bit? Here we go. There's a group soak that gets targeted on a person. We're just going to throw that in the middle so people can soak it. This is a 2-part soak. The first hit is going to bounce everyone who soaked it out, and then he's going to fire another one. So we're going to be splitting into odds and evens. The odds will soak first. They get bounced out, and then the evens will step in and soak the second one. DKs could double soak that with Death's Advance. We don't need to min-max it, it's the first boss. It'll be very easy. Just have people do the first soak, have people do the second soak. Then, after a few cycles of mechanics, we will be going into an intermission where he's going to push everyone away. We're going to want to roar or wind rush to make sure we don't get pushed all the way to the back where there's another death laser at the back. And then we'll be running a silly gauntlet of spinning lasers and bombs and shit. And as we run, so here's the knockback, run against it, and then we're going to chase down the boss. These walls are going to be coming at you. You're going to have a extra action button-y thing to use your cloak to teleport through the wall. Don't run through shit to the best of your ability, don't take extra damage, and when we get to the end, it's just a DPS blast the boss down while he's taking damage on everyone. Break the shield, cycle repeats, but now we're in the next quadrant over. It's a very straightforward boss. He'll knock you back, and we have to run these two. Then he'll knock us back, and you have to run 3. And then he'll knock us back, and we'll have to run... I'm not sure if you have to run 3 or 4 for the last one. But by the end of the fight, if we haven't killed him already, we'll be all the way over here with something that looks a little bit like this. And this is effectively going to be a enrage, where if for some reason we have not killed him by then, he will just kill us. Easy boss, first boss. I believe on Mythic, during the main phase, he'll also be throwing walls at us that we have to teleport through using the cloak, and that'll probably be mildly difficult with other mechanics happening at the same time. And I think there might be ads that show up during the intermission or something like that. We'll see it when we see it.
Will it be possible to make like some sort of extra action button to, use the cloak or like macro?
Yeah, so it'll either be extra action button or it'll be like an on use on the cloak. I assume extra action button. See if you can keybind that or macro that. Cool, yeah. So it's just / extra action button 1 or something. There's a macro somewhere for that. Easy first boss. Move on to the next.
Do we know if the extra action button will force us to move, or if it
Yes.
just will turn us? Okay.
It is like a blink forward or a dash forward.
Okay.
Onward to Lumathar. Lumathar is a weird spider moth thing. Those of us who played in Dragonflight are going to recognize some of these mechanics. First things first. The first phase, there's going to be these rings that collapse in throughout the fight, and we will need to break one of the segments, DPS it down. This is Aranog from Vault of the Incarnates. DPS down one chunk of the ring so that we can escape. The tank mechanic is that big line that targets the tanks. You'll swap after each one. There are also going to be these tethers, and these tethers need to be run away from the boss until you are, I believe, 40 yards away, and then they will snap, and they will leave poop on the ground wherever you snapped it. On normal, you can run these out together, but on heroic, if you're standing in a web when you snap it, you will get stunned. So the targets of the tethers need to run out separately, not stacked together. So run out, spread out a little bit, and make sure you're not standing on a web when you drop it. Try to drop them all close together, but not on top of each other. Away they go for more angles of the same mechanic. This person refuses to snap their tether. There they go. So here's the ring coming in. So on heroic, these are not targetable. These are shielded. The tank is going to have to blast one of the nodes with the tank line in order to break the shield. This is heroic Halandris from Sepulchre. Once the tank line hits, we can swap over and DPS it down to break ourselves out. These lines, at least on PTR, they do a fuckload of damage and they root you, but they don't kill you. You can blink through it, or alternatively, you can do things that make you immune to roots and go through it that way as well. Anything that worked on Tindril should work, for example. This just repeats over and over where you break the ring, snap some tethers, and then once that's done, there's going to be this massive AoE that everyone needs to run out of. That will kill you if you stand in it, so everybody needs to run to the edge and not be in a web. Just be somewhere else safe. And it'll explode, we go back in. On Mythic, we'll have to spread out. You'll have spread circles, so everyone will have to run out and be spread out outside there as well. Rinse and repeat until 50%, at which point the boss will fall down, knock everyone away, rip its ass off, and start bleeding out all over the arena. Yes, I'm
False.
serious. Swirlies to dodge, boss is now walking around while bleeding everywhere. The tank mechanic is now a frontal cone that needs to be soaked. We'll be alternating odds and evens to soak the cone. And that's basically it for phase 2. This becomes a DPS race. She'll do knockbacks, she'll leave poop on the ground, we kite it in a circle. Clockwise around the room, make sure that you are getting knocked away from the poop and not into it. And boss eventually dies. It's a very simple phase 2, probably just going to be a lot of damage with the soaks and stuff going on. So nothing that we really need to even talk about raid plan wise, it's just do the thing. Boss gets pulled out, boss goes in a circle. Next boss, Soulbinder Nazindri, something. This is the strange ad fight of the tier. So the room is going to be full of these little containment units, these canisters, and these canisters have ads in them. The boss is going to shoot lines at a couple of targeted players, and these lines do a lot of damage, but you can use these cans instead to block it and to break out the ads. There are 3 types of ads. They all do different mechanics. We don't want to deal with any of them to the best of our ability, but on Heroic we're going to have to. So, boss is going to get positioned close to 2 cans. And we use these lines to break the cans. Inside are ads. These ads are not real. We have to DPS them down before this cast finishes, and then they become real. So kill them while they're sleeping. If you get hit by this line, it does a ton of damage, and it puts a damage amp on you, so you really don't want to get hit by this. Everyone else should get out of the way, and ideally, people want to stand on the other side of the cans and let the cans block it. Once it shoots, you could blink out of the way, though.
So I'm assuming if we don't kill them in time, they're gonna become alive with 100% HP.
Not sure. I think so,
Okay.
but I'm actually not sure.
Something like Lahuvim.
Very Lahuvami. It should be a very easy DPS check. We'll keep the boss on top of them so they can be cleaved down easily. There's also going to be these star-shaped things that target on people. This is a little bit like Kaiveza. You just get it away from the raid. On PTR, you could stack all of these. So if you remember the wind boss from Noku Defensive, where everyone stood on top of each other with the tornadoes, theoretically, all the players can just go stand off in a corner stacked on top of each other, like these two, and they don't take any damage from it, and then there's less to dodge. The boss is also going to do a huge knockback, and we're going to use that knockback to go to the next set of cans. That knockback puts a really heavy dot on the raid, so watch that, healers. And it's basically just a cycle of break the can, kill the ads, dodge some stuff, get knocked to the next can. There are 2 cans on each corner and 4 in the middle. We'll be able to break 6 of them. And after we've done 6 cans, 3 cycles of mechanics, then we go to an intermission where all of the other ads are going to wake up. For some reason in this footage they lusted this. We will be lusting pull. Don't worry about that. So these ads are monstrous. There are phase blades, which whenever they melee does massive AoE damage to everyone. There are casters that need to be kicked. And then there are assassins that will target one person and fuck their day up. The assassins are actually the lowest priority. We need to kill the phase blades as fast as possible while kicking the casters, and then we need to kill the casters, and the assassins are killed last. While the ads are up, boss is going to continue doing his other damaging mechanics. The tank mechanic is this Mystic Lash. It's just a ramping channel on the current target, and you swap after every cast. But once the ads are dead, then we move back into main phase. New cans are going to pop up around the room. And rinse and repeat. We will likely be doing a go to one corner, then the other corner, then into the middle strategy. A little bit TBD on the details for heroic, because the ad spawns are fixed, so we will kind of know which ones we want to do once we see it, to make the intermission as easy as possible. So probably something like this. Start in one corner, boss goes between. We blast these two, get knocked over here. We blast these two, get knocked into the middle, and we'll, depending on what the ads are, we would either blast these or we would like put them in the very middle and blast opposite sides if they're more dangerous ads like that. The ads might be too spread to perfectly cleave if the boss is directly in the middle, so we might just put them on top of one, cleave it down, put it on top of the other, cleave it down, that kind of thing. It's a straightforward fight, but I think it'll be a little harder than it looks. On Mythic, when we get there, the canisters are shielded, and so we're going to need those star lines to actually pop the shields on the cans before we can crack them open. So we'll be having a little raid marker point for everyone to go stand on with the stars to make sure that we hit the cans with it. That'll put a heal absorb on the whole raid, and then the rest of it is as normal. And the ads do a little bit extra on Mythic when we get there as well. All of that's been pretty straightforward. This one won't be. Forge Weaver, Eraz. Big Void Man. Big Void Man is in a big room that has 3 pylon things on these spots. And all of the mechanics of the fight are going to kind of interact with these pylons. So the first thing that we're going to see here is that players are going to be targeted with these big lines that are pointing toward a pylon. And they're going to drop ads down. These ads are going to get pulled into that pylon, and if they reach it, we take massive damage. So what we want to do is drag these lines so that they're going through the boss. And then when the ads spawn, they spawn on the boss, and we can AoE them down. These can be knocked and CC'd, and they can be everything. Super easy. Root them, stun them, CC them, knock them away if they start getting away from the boss, use Ring of Peace to bump them back onto the boss, AoE them down. Yeah, so you can see if an ad goes in, it does massive raid damage to everyone. There's also a lot to dodge at the same time, so it gets spooky. There is a group soak. This group soak, we're just going to run it away from the boss, and this will be another odds and evens soak situation. This soak is going to spawn an ad, a big ad. It's a clone of the boss, and it does all of the boss's mechanics at the same time. So we need to kill this ASAP. All the DPS peel off the boss and kill this thing. Multi-daughters rejoice. When the ad dies, go back to the boss, deal with other ads. The reason that we are not putting it on top of the boss is because if they are within 20 yards of each other, they become immune and they do double damage. So we need to keep them separate. We'll probably have the boss near the front of the room there, and keep the ad in this middle ring. Just make sure that they don't have a buff tanks. That'll be your problem.
As usual.
Yep. Oh, this is such a tank raid. You have no idea.
Yay.
Yeah. So we're going to have a lot of these ads over the course of the fight spawning. But eventually, he's going to do a knockback, he's going to go into an intermission, and now the pylons are going to be targetable, and we're going to need to DPS them down. We need to kill them before their energy bar fills up. So you can see really small here, this first one has an orb spinning around it. That is our first target, because it is charging energy when this orb is around it. If the pylon gets to full energy, it will start doing massive raid-wide damage. So we kill it. As we kill that, another pylon is going to start building its energy, and so everyone's going to run fast toward that one and kill it, and then we'll run to the last one and kill it. Another multi-daughters rejoice, because you can just throw dots on all of them. Fixer and Zenny are going to have a blast in this one. Meanwhile, there are tank ads that are happening. These ads are little tiny Anduins, where every time they attack you, they get stronger and stronger. So there are 2 of them. You guys are going to need to swap them every so often to reset their stacks. They're not very meaningful other than doing tank damage, so we're just going to passively cleave them down. We're not going to actively target them unless for some reason the tanks get really, really scared for some crazy reason. If you guys can't deal with auto attacks, I don't know what to do with you. But once the pylons are all dead, the boss drops down, and the boss has a damage amp on him. So this is where we will lust. And we can cleave down what's left of the ads while we blast the boss. I guess they're scary, this guy purged. Once the damage amp is finished, he'll knock everyone back and go back to phase 1 again. Until that happens twice. On the second time, or at 50%, we go into phase 2. In phase 2, he's going to break open the window, and there's a black hole behind him. Very scary. That black hole is constantly pulling you for the entire rest of the fight. So we're going to be needing to resist that occasionally, running against it. And at the same time, all the other mechanics are happening. So the orbs are going to drop, and the orbs are going to get pulled into the black hole. If they touch the black hole, we wipe. So we want to have these far up along so that they get pulled through the boss. And we have to CC and knock them down. Lots of these orbs are going to spawn. We need to deal with them. If you ever touch the black hole, you die. If the orbs ever touch the black hole, we all die. The pull gets stronger and stronger over time, but it should be manageable to kill the boss before it gets so strong that we can't deal with it. So, boss will stay here for phase 1. Orbs will be dragged so they go through him, depending on which of the pylons they are going towards. The ghost ad with the soak goes in the middle, 20 yards away. And in the intermission, we will run around beating down these pylons and reset. I believe that the top here is where the black hole is in phase 2, so at that point we will just need to take the boss over to this side and keep him vaguely over here. It's time for the council fight. The 3 demon hunters. There is no 3rd demon hunter spec. Sorry.
Ooh.
Bummer.
First,
Not yet.
well, never know. First things first, this is kind of a cycling fight where there's a main phase and then an intermission, but each of the bosses has their own intermission. They'll go in order. The Enrage is the 4th intermission, where they all do their intermission at the same time. It is not survivable. It looks like that. So, first things first. Tank mechanic. Main tank mechanic is First of all, there are two that are meleeing, and then the void one is just kind of fucking around doing his thing. So the tanks need to grab the melee bosses and drag them on top of the other one. We'll lust when they're clumped up, just like on Council of Dreams. One of the bosses is going to do okay, we'll talk about it in this order. So first things first, there's a couple single soaks, and if you single soak that, you will get a debuff on you. This debuff is a ramping dot. It's a little bit like Forgotten Experiments. When it gets dispelled, it does a raid-wide tick and just jumps to another person. So we'll be maintaining those dots for the entire fight. If you have those dots, and you can see two people here with the thing on their head, you can stand in void pools on the ground and you can clear them. So this will only go on ranged. Sorry, ranged gamers. But we can watch this person. He's going to walk into a pool, and it's sip it up. Yum, 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 yum.
Ranged and healers?
Probably only ranged healers, if healers. I'm not sure if it goes on healers. I suspect it probably goes on healers, though. Bosses are going to be jumping around, so tanks need to drag him. This Fell Rush is going to be targeting on one person, and this is a line soak. So we're going to need a bunch of people to be standing in this to reduce the damage that that person takes. Denathrius lines. On Heroic, every single person who stands in this soak will explode in a small AoE, so we'll need to spread out in that line. Looking to have at least 5, maybe 10 people, depending on the raid size, split this soak. It's very dangerous. Void boss jumps around, bring the rest of the bosses to him. Okay, tank mechanic. So, one boss is going to cast I-Beam, which is a constant ticking frontal, so keep that pointed on the outside. It also knocks anyone who gets hit back, so you have to run against it. And at the end of the cast, the boss will charge at the target and do a big nuke. You'll swap the 2 melee bosses after every I-Beam, because that damage amp, it amps the next cast. On Mythic, you'll need to swap between the I-Beam and the jump. It'll have to be a little bit faster, because the I-Beam will also amp the damage of the jump. So there was the jump, and then the tanks should swap bosses. I believe the other boss just does stacking melee debuff damage. Something like that. Basically swap when the I-Beam happens.
Like dot damage or just damage taken increase?
I don't know. Let's learn together. Fracture. Oh, how could I forget? It's a lot more complicated than that. So, the fracture. Remember Kel'Thuzad?
I was gonna say I saw a soul fragment and I was like, Kel'Thuzad?
Kel'Thuzad.
Oh boy.
Yep. Jump ahead. We already talked about the hunt. Blade Dance is dodging. Where are the souls? Where are the souls?
Wait,
Talk about the souls. Here we go. I have gone. Okay, so Fracture. So Elisa will cast Fracture and split soul fragments from the active tank. While you have souls floating around, you have a healing received reduction. Other players need to soak those souls. So once that happens, it is basically just someone else has to run into this swirly and soak it to save your life. So here goes a boomkin, catches the soul, gives it back to you.
And that's a 30-second dot it puts on them?
It puts a heavy dot on the soaking person, yes. So different people soaking each time, ideally. I suspect there's a few souls, depending on the difficulty, that'll pop out. So on normal, it might be 1, but on heroic, it might be 2 or 3.
I wouldn't be surprised if it goes like 2, 3, 4.
Yeah. So one person should not soak all of the fragments, even with an immunity. The dot will kill you. It's a 30-second dot. After the fracture will be a spirit bomb that's just a heavy raid-wide hit. So healers be ready. And if you guys swap after each eye beam, it should also be a swap between each fracture at the same time. Okay. It's going to be important that we kill all 3 of the bosses at the same time, because when one of them dies, they will start pulsing massive damage. But hopefully they're going to talk about the intermissions here. Okay, so first is the Void intermission. The Void intermission is the Halandrus intermission, where orbs are going to get pulled towards him, and if any touch him, we take damage. If you soak an orb, you will take a dot. That dot only goes for 3 seconds, but it does stack. So if you soak a whole bunch in a row, you will die. Try to soak 2 at most, and then take a 3-second pause before soaking more, unless your name is Tank.
I am Tank.
It's not a very complicated thing. Everyone just spreads around the room. Hopefully the debuff people have cleared more of this void so that it's not as scary. Ranged can catch the first few and then let orbs sneak by while they let their debuff fall off, and the melee can catch some. Easy peasy. First intermission will be very easy. The second intermission, this is a little bit wackier. These are blaze lines, except they are coming from a point, so if you move, the angle changes. Just like we always do with blaze lines, when you get it, you have about 1 or 2 seconds to move to get safe, and then you plant your feet. If you can run up and down your line, the line won't move. So if you are standing, say, for example, here, and you have a blaze line like this. Let's say that you're standing in this intersection. You're standing in this intersection. If you are this line, move out of it by running up your own line. If you're this line, move out of it by running up your own line. You cannot let these swing around like crazy. It's already going to be hectic enough. Plant as soon as you are safe. That person, like this person, they planted. There's a second here for everyone to figure out where they're going. It's going to be a lot. But this is the only thing that we're doing during this intermission. So all you have to do is dodge. The third intermission is a Vengeance Demon Hunter jumping around and casting Feldev. This fills most of the arena with death. So when she jumps over, we run toward that circle, and we run diagonally to the side of it. When she jumps again, we run towards that circle, run directly towards it, and then get to the side of it. Be to the side or behind by the time the cast starts. A wind rush in the middle will go crazy there. That's the whole fight. It's going to be a bit of a visual clusterfuck with everything happening at once. Tanks are going to be trying to get the bosses moving over toward the stationary boss without eye-beaming everyone. So just like on Council of Dreams, watch the bigwig's timer to make sure that you're moving between mechanics, not when one's about to happen. And when they all get low, kill them all at the same time. Boss die, get our special boots. The boots are a bonus drop, so we'll get 4 pieces of loot and also a few pieces of boot. But the boots will still be RC Loot Council to try to split them up and make sure everyone gets some. Because those boots are insane. They buff your cloak. The only other thing to mention is a healer specific thing. As these debuffs that are running around tick up, they're going to hit these people harder and harder, so we do need to babysit these people. When we dispel it, it will nuke the whole raid, so we need to be careful about when we dispel it and probably stagger it. Do not instantly dispel as soon as you see something to dispel in this fight. Talent restoral. With the Demon Hunters dead, we move on to playing some Tetris. Fractalus is a cool boss. This is kind of like if Taros were hard. So the arena is going to be divided into 6 lanes. You can see these white lines on the ground. There are 6 crystals that are pointing at the boss. So we will have a marker in front of each crystal, like this, and 6 lanes. The boss is going to throw waves of crystal at specific players, which will generate these walls. And then players will get knocked back, which will break the walls. I believe the tanks will always be targeted with 1 break and 1 wall drop. So we're going to have the tanks fuck off in a corner and play their own lane for most of the fight. This one is not a tank fight. This is a sit here and be by yourself fight. But for everyone else, let's see if we can get a non-tank POV at any point here. Nope, okay. So, this is one where I did, in fact, do up a real raid plan. Because this is the wall boss, and I want us to kill it on day 1 if we can. So, 6 lanes, each with a marker. We are going to play 5 of the lanes. The tanks are going to play the X lane. No one else hangs out in X. The fight cycles really rapidly between 4 people creating walls, then the tank, then 4 people create walls, and then 6 people get knocks. So we're going to be creating 8 walls and breaking 6 walls. We will be slowly filling the arena with walls. If you are standing in the same lane when a wall gets thrown, you will get hit by that wall and you will take a dot. So we're going to always have a safe lane at any given point in the fight. We're going to start with square being the safe lane. So every single player is in the square lane except for the tanks. The 4 people who are targeted are going to split off. 2 will go left, 2 will go right. You'll see arrows. You hit a defensive, 2 walls are going to get thrown at you. If you're really quick, you can blink out of it, but don't fuck it up and kill everyone. You will get walls thrown, walls will generate back here. Then we'll do it again. Safe lane is on square, 2 people left, 2 people right. Now there are 4 walls. If we ever have 6 walls in the same lane, we wipe instantly. So we need to manage how many walls are in every lane. I have created a script that will be relatively easy, and I will just call where we stand every time. On the first drops, 2 left, 2 right, 2 left, 2 right, and then when we break them, we will break 2 to the left, and we will break 4 to the right. The 4 people will stand together, they will get knocked through 4 walls, bang, 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 bang. There's no issue with stacking for the knockback. It doesn't do any extra damage. When walls get broken, it will do a bunch of swirlies on the ground. And on heroic, some of the walls are a different color, and those walls will add extra mechanics when they break. So if we can get any footage that shows anything here, please, I beg of you, show anything in this footage. Okay, here's the knockback, I think. Bang, broke a wall. Swirlies happened. So here's a stack of people who are all going to break the same 3 walls here. They broke, you see this slightly darker purple one? When that wall breaks, there's going to be a bunch of people who are targeted by these blue circles that are completely invisible on the PTR version, and I really hope they make it more visible. But it's a spread circle, so a bunch of players are going to need to spread out and get away from the rest of the raid. See if we can see it a little bit more visibly clearly here. It's very hard to get footage of this boss because everyone's looking forward at the boss and not looking backward at the walls. So here, we're going to have 2 people break these 2. And here, you can kind of see these blue circles that have formed around a bunch of players. This will explode after a few seconds. It's pulsing damage while you're in it, so you just need to
Impossible
spread
to
these
see.
out. Yeah, if they didn't fix this for when it goes live, they're insane. It needs to be a completely different color.
It like covers 3 lanes almost.
About the width of a lane plus a little bit. This is a lane, and this is a lane, and then there's a lane on the edge here. So there, that's, you can see 1 circle here. Assume that it will be more visible. So our script at the beginning, I will call a mark that we all stand in. We will be dropping walls 2 left, 2 right, 2 left, 2 right, and then we will break 2 left, 4 right. Then we'll move over. I will call a marker, 2 left, 2 right, 2 left, 2 right, break 2 left, 4 right. Then we move over. 2 left, 2 right, 2 left, 2 right, 2 left, 4 right. The reason that we're splitting up the breaks like this is because the second wall is one of those heroic walls. We want to avoid breaking more than one of those at the same time. Once we've done that 3 times, then we just don't have to worry about the heroic mechanic anymore, ever again. So from then on, we will go back into a marker, and then we will split off and just have 1 person in each lane. This will be easier to heal because we're not having 2 stacks of the dot on these people. And we will just slowly build up, so split them up, 1 in each lane on the left, 1 in each lane on the right. Never in the X lane, that is the tank special lane, that's for the tanks. Tanks go in the corner. And once we have done this 1 in each lane set, then we'll just go 2 breaks on every lane that had 4. So in this case, we have a wall that's coming in here and a wall that's coming in here. So 2 breaks in that one, 2 breaks in that one, and then the other 2 breaks can kind of go wherever. Then we'll repeat. 1 in each lane, 1 in each lane. And now we have 3 lanes that have 4 walls, so we put 2 into each one. We clear them all. 1 in each lane, 1 in each lane. Now we have 4 that have 4 walls, so we're going to break 3 of them, and then we will move, and that will be our new safe zone. Now we are moving into the tank lane. At this point, the boss might be dead already, based on the PTR tuning. In case it's not, we move into the lane that has 4, we go 1 in each lane, 1 in each lane, break any that have 4. If there are any 4s left, we go into that lane, 1 in each lane, 1 in each lane, break them. Now the boss really needs to be dead. Otherwise, all hell breaks loose. It's manageable, but it gets weird. We'll figure it out, though. So, that might look a little confusing, and there is no footage of anyone staring at the walls the entire time to show it. But we'll do, the fight is in cycles, we'll do stacks for the first 3 cycles, and then 1 in each lane for the rest of the fight. I will always tell you where to stand if you are safe, and it'll always just be splitting off from that safe lane. We'll be able to learn it on normal, then we can execute it on heroic. Any questions, or is everyone a little dumbfounded and just needs to see it for real?
That.
Yeah, that's valid. I also recognize that this raid plan is slightly rotated and the boss is definitely in this crater, and I am not fixing it.
Learning
And
by
this-
doing, gonna be a bitch.
Yeah, I missed what the tanks were doing, but do I need to care about what the tanks are doing?
You don't have to give a single hoot about what the tanks are doing, but for Athena's sake, during the drops, while everyone else is dropping 8 walls, you will get 1 wall, and when you get that wall, you swap, and then the other tank will come in and break that wall. You're basically just going to make a wall, and then break a wall, and then make a wall, and then break a wall for the entire fight.
Sounds like fun.
Yeah.
Story of my life.
It's the first
Hello, Wall.
do nothing.
I'm sorry for the amount of walls breaking that's about to happen in this raid.
Ugh.
Alright. Now, let's move on from the confusing Tetris boss and talk about the coolest fight in the raid. Nexus King Saladar. Nexus King Salad Bar.
There we go.
This is a 3, arguably 4-phase fight with a lot going on. So right out the gate, we're going to be splitting off like Gallywicks with odds on one side and evens on the other side. And the entirety of phase 1 is tank mechanics. The whole thing. So, Athena, if you remember, Guardian of the first ones from Sanctum of Domination, where there's a variety pack of tank mechanics where some of them have to be soaks and some of them have to be off. That's what we're getting here.
Soak, single, soak.
So this is a random order of whether it's a soak or a cone.
Oh, so kind of like Skullx.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
So randomized like Skolex, but the mechanic of Guardian.
That's fun.
Yeah, and it'll never be it'll always be that if you taunt, it'll change to the other. It'll be safe if you taunt between each one, basically.
Okay.
So it'll be some combination of giant cone that you are off the raid by like making sure that you guys are probably. I would probably have the tanks on opposite sides to be safest because on Mythic this is going to be like a 180-degree bullshit. But a cone, it knocks you back. The other tank taunts. It is a fixated cast, so taunt during the casts. Cone, then group soak. That's for one side, then group soak for the other side. And that order can be in any order. It could be cone, group soak, cone. It could be group soak, cone, cone. You guys just have to figure it out and react. On heroic, if anyone dies, they get mind controlled. And you know how that works in this game. If you get mind controlled, for some reason the first thing that the AI does with your character is blow all of your CC buttons on random people.
Mm-hmm.
So don't die, or you'll probably kill everyone by fearing them into mechanics. Or knocking, or ring-a-piecing everyone around, shit like that. Heavy hits. After the tank combo is going to be these weird blazes. They're very cool looking, they're very fast, and they leave void zones on the ground. So run them out, try not to be on top of each other. It'll be one set on a bunch of people, and then immediately a set on a different bunch of people. So make sure that when you're running the second set out and the first set are coming in, you don't kill each other. One set goes out, other set goes out, and the first set comes in, everyone comes in. And then it's tank bullshit again, but this time with shit on the ground. Also, don't go all the way to the outside of the room where the dragons will slap you. It's funny. So now it's the bullshit. So we're gonna have to recenter people on marks but avoid the void zones. And then again, new void zones go out. Run them out, run in, run out, run in. Straight into tank mechanics. I believe 3 sets of these. And you have to soak every single set because there's a Sarkareth mechanic. There you will have 3 stacks of a debuff here. Every time you soak, you lose 1 stack. And if you have any stacks left at the end of phase 1, guess what? Mind control. We die. So don't miss the soaks. You have to soak when it is your turn every single time. So here, 2 stacks. Running everyone out. Fast forward, fast forward. Come on, do the thing. Do the thing. Here we go. So here's the 3rd set. You can see this sort of white debuff on the person's screen here. He needs to get in this. That is now gone. They are now safe for the intermission. I mean, gonna die, but otherwise safe. Invoke the Oath. Mind controls everyone who didn't soak every single soak. So 1 person in this footage got MC'd. They're dead. And now, phase 2. In phase 2, he hops on his dragon. This is now a 2-target fight. Gigantic bombs will go on a bunch of people. You need to run out to the edge, and these bombs are going to create portals. Fast forward. Here we go. So, portals are going to show up. There's more of these stupid claw things happening as well during this phase. Why is he resetting the footage over and over? Okay, come on, do the thing. So, now it's time for Razageth phase 3. The tank mechanic is breath that goes on the tank, and whatever damage you take gets echoed to the rest of the raid. But while this little frontal is happening on you, it's also getting shot through all the portals. And the portals will rotate and blast the waves of energy across the raid. So, I have no idea why this footage is being looped, but it's fine. Portals go out, everyone drops them, you come back in, you stay off the tanks, there's a breath thing that happens. That only happens once, and then we split, odds and evens, into these portals to do an add platform intermission. You'll use your extra action button to go through the portal, and there's a bunch of ads here to kill. You have a big ad, you have a caster ad, and you have a bunch of little babies that don't matter. Burn down the big ad before it hits 100 energy. When it hits 100 energy, we die. Kick the caster ad the whole time. If you have a focus kick macro, really good on this fight. That cast can't go off, it does a lot of damage. And, just for shits and giggles, spinning death lasers. Once the ads have been all burned down, then you go back to the main platform and you do phase 2 again. After doing that twice, then we get an intermission where he's going to hop off the dragon. The boss is now immune, but the dragon takes double damage. This is the lust. So this is a big burn phase, like 30 seconds of just blasting this dragon while dodging lines. Super easy. Hit lust, blow your CDs, pot, kill the dragon. Whatever health the dragon has left at the end of this phase goes back into the boss for phase 3. And if you kill the dragon, he gets no health. Now
So
phase...
infinite intermission.
Yeah, basically. And now phase 3. This is the part that everyone got scared of in the footage. So, Several players are going to be targeted with arrows on their head, and they're going to be dropping these big bomb star things out somewhere. So split them out, get them away from each other. I think it's a fall off damage based on that visual, but just get out of the raid with it. It's going to drop a pool on the ground, and that pool is going to spawn a star, and that star is going to pulse out growing rings. On normal difficulty, wherever you put them is where the rings come from. On heroic, these will move and orbit around, and so will the void zones. They will orbit around the room. So,
Tooltip for the bomb says it's less damage further out, so yeah, it's fall off.
perfect, thank you. So here's heroic. 6 stars, rotating around the room. The safe zones are moving. Then, every time the tank mechanic happens, which is a laser beam on the active tank, the clone copies of the king will also laser beam other people. You need to shoot the laser beam at the stars to destroy them. So this
Goes through
laser,
the people.
it goes through people. Through, all the way through, off the arena, infinitely long. So watch this laser here. It's going to shoot at this star, and that star is going to explode, and it's gone. And now it's not shooting rings out anymore. So we'll be dropping a bunch of stars. On heroic, they spin. On normal, they stand still. And we'll be destroying them with the lasers. So people who are targeted, try to point it to the best of their ability at the stars. No one else is standing in those paths. Erupts with raid-wide damage when it explodes. And then more stars come out. And more stars join the fray. And there is technically an enrage on this fight, but the real enrage is when you have so many stars that you have no idea where the fuck to stand. And that's Salad Bar.
Tasty.
Very visually cool fight. So, again, we'll have an odds group and an evens group split off on separate sides. And we will have the tanks offset a little bit from them for the frontals. If it's a frontal, then keep it off the stack. If it's a soak, put it on the stack. Phase 1, very easy, just do that mechanic over and over while dodging things. Then phase 2 is run out bombs, dodge things, same thing. Intermission, odds will go left to an ad platform, evens will go right to an ad platform, kill the ads, come back, do it again, come back, lust, burn the boss, and then the cool stars thing. I don't know if there's any particular thing we can do to make the stars easier, so I suggest that what we do is we just have the boss wherever it makes sense, probably vaguely in the middle of the arena, and run the star target people out just in opposite directions, spreading out around the edge of the room to drop off the stars. And we may end up wanting to move the boss toward a star so that we can get into a temporary safe zone as the first ring passes. We'll see what feels good. Now, Dimensius. As usual, they did not do any PTR testing for Dimensius. But the journal is actually really clear on how it works. Now, unfortunately, the journal is also really long.
Oh, wow.
But, lucky for you, Your wonderful officer team has done a review and pieced together what this fight looks like, probably.
So like a 20-minute fight.
Nah, probably not. So, first things first. Tanks. This will be a big tank fight. The boss, when he tries to melee you, he will make sure he melees you. If you're not in melee, yes, you are.
Sounds ominous.
You get pulled in. His melees are a 15-yard AoE around the tank, and if anyone's in that AoE, they will get knocked away. So the tanks need to be vibing off away from the rest of the raid. Not too far, though, probably. There is a heavy smash. It's called Massive Smash, which is your main Phase 1 tank mechanic. It will do a huge AoE smash around the current tank. It will knock everyone away, and it will spawn a bunch of adds. We don't know how many. I would suspect a bunch. These adds need to be killed. When the adds are alive, they will just cast on random players, doing pretty heavy damage. When they die, they're going to leave a moat on the ground, excess mass. Players will need to pick up that moat on the ground. It might be a click, it might be run over it, we don't know. I expect we'll be able to solve it pretty quickly. People will pick up those things and they will... I'm going to use this to denote somebody. That's impossible to see. I will use this to show somebody. That's impossible to see. Everything is purple. It's all purple all the way down. Smiley faces. Smiley faces are people who picked up the moats. The people who have the moats are going to be the saviors of the raid. Occasionally, players are going to get lifted off the ground. I can't do third dimension, so let's pretend it's over here. You're going to fly up in the air and you're going to get pulled into the boss. If somebody with a moat is standing under you, they will pull you back down again. When the boss hits 100 energy, he will devour the entire raid, unless two people who have moats stand next to each other. They will generate a safe zone around them. And that safe zone, people can hide in. Every time the boss casts Devour, you need more people to generate a safe enough safe zone, though. And while you are standing in the safe zone, you are slowed heavily, which will stack based on the number of people who create the safe zone. So we're probably going to need to have little clumps of people with the moats spread out. This might be a fight where we're split into odds and evens. I mean, okay, it will be, but we'll talk about that later. But if the raid is actually split in half on this platform, then we'll just need a few little platforms of people who make safe zones for the rest of the raid to stand in during the Devour cast. Also, the boss has big old slapping fists. And the big old slapping fists are going to create these antimatter spheres on either side of the arena. These are the heroic Denathrius mechanic, where people need to walk into it and soak it to shrink it down so that it does less damage when it explodes. Every some number of seconds, people who are standing in it will take a bunch of damage, but reduce the amount of damage that it deals to the raid by the amount of damage they took. I assume that immuning it works. The base damage on heroic is 45 million. and it ticks for 750k. So if we crunch the numbers on that, there are 2 spheres. We need to have a lot of people soak it a little bit each, or a few people soak it a lot bit each. We will see what that looks like. But we will try to shrink those down as much as we can without dying before they explode. Presumably that just kind of cycles a bit, where we have the ad spawn, we collect the motes, we soak the spheres, and then we don't get devoured by using the safe zones. On heroic, there are swirlies that are going to be baited at the raid. That happens on normal, but on heroic, wherever the swirlies land is going to generate poop on the ground. So on heroic, we're going to need to make sure that we bait that poop in a way that's not going to block where we need to go. Once we've done the devour thing a few times, it will be time to fly away. We'll be doing some dragon riding bullshit. We will fly away. Xalatath will do some shenanigans probably. We'll be flying through waygates to get to the next platforms. There will be some glowy things somewhere that we want to collect, because if we collect glowy things, it will do damage to the ads that are on these platforms. It is not clear if we are splitting the raid in half to go to 2 different platforms, or if we're doing one platform as a group and then going to the next platform, but either way, these are ad platforms, and on the ad platforms we have mini-bosses, and we have little infuriating guys. The mini-bosses each have slightly different mechanics. One of them will do an AoE pulse around it that the melee need to run out of. One of them will just shoot lines at people that you have to dodge. And there will be little ads where the text says, it exerts control over the area around it, knocking back players who enter and inflicting lethal damage on them. So my best guess is that these ads are going to have this zone around them that melee aren't allowed to enter, and the ranged are going to have to kill these ads. On heroic, the ranged are going to have to prioritize killing these ads, because they also are going to constantly be pulsing the raid with a dot that stacks up. The tank mechanic on the ad platform is every time the mini-boss melees you, you get a heavy, heavy dot, and if you get 10 stacks, you die. So, presumably, swap.
Yeah, sounds like one of the mechanics in Ishar or whatever.
It's possible that we'll be dealing with both of the mini-bosses at the same time, and so you guys have to swap mini-bosses. It's possible that we'll be going to one platform at a time, and you'll have to just take turns on the same one. It's really hard to say for sure at this point.
Yeah, we'll see.
We will see. Eventually, we will finish the ad phase, and we will go back to hitting Dementius in this cool arena. He will drop down in the arena, be a lot smaller, and he will take double damage. This is our Lust phase 3. After the damage amp, then we go into real phase 3, where there is a death zone on the outside that is collapsing inwards over time. So pretend this is a safe zone, and it shrinks as the fight goes on. He's going to have 2 main mechanics here. He's going to drop stars or something on the ground. He's going to drop big swirlies on the ground, and those swirlies are going to drop stars, and those stars are going to have a safe zone around them. So no, we'll use this to be a star, and this to be a safe zone. These are going to orbit around the arena. You don't want to be standing in it until he casts Devour. It would be a bad time. There will be a bunch of them. While they spin around the arena, he's also going to be dropping giant swirlies elsewhere, and these swirlies are going to have growing quake rings that come out of them. So a slowly expanding ring of death. Sausage from Sepulchre. When you cross a quake, you take a bunch of damage and you are debuffed for 3 seconds. If you cross another ring within 3 seconds, you die. So you'll want to run through one ring and then wait a few seconds before going through the next ring. We don't know how many rings at the same time there will be, but if it's like the sausage, you can blink through it and do things like that to save your life. The tank mechanic on this phase is similar to before, where the boss's melees are going to be a big AoE around you, and when he does the actual smash, it is going to be just a big giant AoE. But on heroic, instead of knocking people away, it'll pull everyone to your position. So again, this is very Razageth Phase 3, where the arena is getting smaller and smaller, people are getting pulled towards each other and having to spread out again after. Every time he casts Devour, he's going to kill everybody who's not standing inside one of these safe zones. So everyone's going to have to stand in a safe zone, like on Neltharion. But while he casts Devour, everything gets pulled towards him. These stars get pulled towards him. The outside of the arena gets pulled towards him. The players get pulled towards him. So we're going to need to be running against while staying in the safe zones. And eventually, over time, he will delete some of these safe zones and turn them into death zones. Death zone's bad, don't stand in death zone. Do that until boss die. It's a really cool fight. It's not actually super complicated from the sound of it. I'm sure it will be more complicated when we do it. But yeah, the core mechanics that we're going to need to remember when we get in there are the kill the ads and soak up the little globs that they drop. Soak the big antimatter spheres so that they don't kill us. And then people who have globs will go give each other a kith to make safe zones for the Devourer.
Love Kith and the homies in raid.
Gotta love kith and the homie them raid. And that's the raid. That's all of it. 8 bosses.
Seems fun.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't remember if there even is a heroic mechanic in Phase 3. Oh, the heroic mechanic in Phase 3 is getting pulled to the tanks, so be careful you don't get pulled through a black hole. That'll be it. Feels like a lot going on for some of the fights, but I think when we get there, it'll be pretty manageable. Anyone have anything that they want to go over again before we wrap up?
I have off-topic stuff.
Is it raid relevant off-topic stuff?
Actually, yes.
Go for it then.
2 things that I forgot to say. I'm going to be putting some contracts in the guild bank for renown for only tailors and alchemists. We got new health bots, and they're real good. And the 3 stars are actually worth it because they're like 1.2 billion or 1.2 million more healing.
It's good to know.
There's contracts for whoever wants to farm renown that can craft that stuff. And then also you can buy the blue fibers for your cloak for like 100 gold, but don't forget that tailors can also craft epic ones.
Yeah, so when tailors get to renown 5, they can buy the recipe to give your cloak more stats. So we'll be looking for that specifically. If you're a tailor and you plan on doing a lot of renown farming, that's what those contracts are for. If you're an alchemist and you're going to do a lot of renown farming and you're a potion crafter, specifically all of those things at once, take a contract and get that extra renown.
I'm putting 3
Contracts only apply for World Quest, right?
Yep.
So
I'm putting 3 in the prog tab now, and then if anyone needs more, just let me know.
please only take those if you are specifically farming renown for the professions that are helping the team.
There's also a ton of like mats and whatnot for people that are doing dungeons and gearing. All I ask is try and replace what you take.
Thanks for putting that in.
Yeah.
Again, I will offer to make the flasks this tier also, like previous.
Thank you. All right. This is the video that we were referencing. It's pretty good when it's not muted. He talks about the mechanics pretty well, so I'll throw a link to this into Prog discussion if you feel like watching it and watching it at your pace. The raid info channel at the just above Prog discussion and Prog announcements, it continues to be your resource for our add-ons, our weak auras, our rules, and our boss strategies. So I am continuously working on filling out the boss section of the Prog info, and Ellie has updated the rules and requirements and stuff.
Add-ons and weak auras will be updated later this week.
Yeah, that'll be a work in progress. But if you want to see my super special notes on the boss strategies, those will be in raid info along with our raid plans as they get done. Yeah, I got very little else. If you want to do a stack group for M0s this week, go ping in the LFG channel in the respective threads. We'll probably try to get those going sooner than later. Thanks for all of your time, guys. And I look forward to doing this raid with you.
Hell yeah.
CE Part 2 Electric Boogaloo commencing.
Yeah.
Have you seen that CE mount, by the
Thanks,
way?
Dad.
Looks fun.
It's a cool scene.
For this year? No, what does it look like?
It
No,
looks
I haven't
real
seen it
good.
yet.
It's a very voidy void dragon.
Oh, does it look like the world boss dragon?
No, that's the AOTC mount.
Oh.
The mythic mount is a unique model.
Ooh, cute. Yeah, fixed your link to in-game.
Nice.
I need it.
I need that
Oh
dragon.
god, that's so fucking pretty.
Yeah. And if anyone's wondering what the end boss on Mythic looks like, the main mechanics that I noticed are half the raid is going to get one type of circle on them, and half the raid is going to get a different type of circle on them. And let's say it's reds and blues, for example. All of the reds need to find a blue buddy and stand close to each other but not on top of each other. You need to have the red player in the blue circle, but the blue player not in the red circle. Because when the circles explode, one of them does a massive lethal amount of damage and stuns you forever, and one of them knocks everyone away.
We really have a blue and red thing again? That fucking sucks.
Yeah.
When don't we have one of those?
And on Mythic in Phase 1, all the ads have to die at the same time, or else they heal all the other ads to full. And then you don't get any motes, and you die to all the other mechanics. And in Phase 3, if you have 6 people in the same safe zone at the same time, the boss will delete that safe zone. It's gonna be great.
Athena, Xenia, you guys spoken for tanks already?
I was going to start the cloth group here in a second.
Oh,
Well, the
Oh,
mana
whoa.
group needs a tank.
And a healer on list. Well, okay. Is anybody else
Yeah.
having the issues with fucking frames not having names?